What's good, y'all? So today, this is going to be my official review on the Bullbar 2.0. Maybe a few months back when I first got this piece of equipment, I did an unboxing with kind of a review on what my initial thoughts were on the Bullbar 2.0. But after using the Bullbar for, I probably have had this thing for 4 or 5 months. After using it for, let's just say 4 months, I'm pretty solid on how I feel about this. Now, first off, let's give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 on what I think about this piece of equipment. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give the Bullbar an 8. And the reason why I give it an 8 is because, number one, you can do a lot of exercises on this. You can actually have this as your everyday piece of
entering into a state of lifestyle flow. Here you can see the output providing specific strategies.
Workout equipment. You can pretty much do a home workout every single day, at least as far as your upper body goes. Even do a couple little lower body exercises, but personally I don't use it for that. You can also use this as a fairly stable bar to add gymnastics rings, and I'd actually say that's probably my favorite use case for the Bullbar 2.0. But just as far as we're just talking about using it as is with no additional equipment, I would say the pull-up aspect of the Bullbar is probably the thing that brings it down a little bit. And it's just simply because it's not the most stable bar. As you can see, even right now, it's shaking a little bit. It's not the most stable bar. It's stable enough to where you can, use it every single day. You can do 10 sets of 10 pull-ups. You can even do chest to bar pull-ups. I'll do a pull-up here for you guys. Just like that. As you can see, it's pretty stable. And then you can do a chest to bar pull-up. It'll be a little bit less stable. And didn't quite get my chest to the bar, but that's neither here nor there. But like I said, the Bullbar is good in that capacity. And then when it comes down to doing dips and push-ups, I think is really where the Bullbar shines. It's very stable for dips. And then if you want to lower these down and do push-ups, the Bullbar is super stable for that. Now, what exercises can you do on a Bullbar and what exercises can you not do on a Bullbar? I actually have these written down in my notes. Some exercises that you can do on the Bullbar is all the basics: pull-ups, push-ups, dips. You can even do inverted rows on the Bullbar. You can do tricep extensions on the Bullbar. And some of the other things that you can do on the Bullbar that I really like is you can do ring pull-ups, you can do ring muscle-ups, ring dips, ring flies, ring push-ups, etc. And probably my favorite thing to do on a Bullbar, one of the other favorite things I do on a Bullbar, is I do a lot of skill work. And I do a lot of skill work as far as working on things like front lever, planche. And what I do is I can tie a band around this bar right here, and I can practice doing whatever planche progression I'm doing or whatever front lever progression I'm doing. If it's doing a full front lever with the gymnastics rings, I can do that. If it's doing a half lay planche or a straddle planche with a band, I can do that on here. One of the exercises that is probably the most popular in calisthenics that you cannot do on a Bullbar, or I wouldn't advise doing on a Bullbar, is gonna be muscle ups. This bar is not stable enough to do muscle ups. I'm somebody who can do slow false grip muscle ups, which does not use any momentum, and I still feel like this bar is not stable enough to do a slow false grip muscle up on. I wouldn't do it here because these ceilings are low, but even if I brought the Bullbar outside, I still wouldn't trust that this thing can handle my weight. I'm 195 pounds, and maybe if you're 140 pounds or 150 pounds max, you might be able to do a muscle up on this. But if you're like myself, a little bit on the heavier side for calisthenics, this is definitely not the bar to be doing muscle ups on. So let's talk about the pros. Pros of the Bullbar is it's stable, it's foldable, it's super easy to set up. I don't know if I talked about that before, but you can set this bar up in probably less than 2 minutes. I would say maximum it takes you like 90 seconds to set this bar up. Storage is probably the number one reason why I even got this bar. I don't have too much storage in my apartment. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's not a ton of storage. And there's just, you know, you want to be able to find things that kind of give me, I'll at least look to find pieces of workout equipment that are a little bit more minimalistic. And this thing folds up to about this big, this wide, and I can store it easily in my bedroom. And then when I take it out, it doesn't even take up too much space either. So it's minimalistic. I'd say that's one of the pros on it. And then it's great for using gymnastics rings, great for practicing my skill works, great for practicing my skill work. And again, like I said, this thing is an everyday workout piece of equipment. This is an everyday piece of equipment that you can use to get a great workout in. You can work out for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours on this thing, and you'll still have more exercises that you can actually do. You'll run out of energy before you run out of exercise that you can do on the bull bar. Now, let's talk about some of the cons. Some of the cons of the bull bar is pull-up stability is not the best. I would say it wobbles a little bit. You could actually look at this as a good thing and a bad thing. If you're wobbling a little bit, or if you're on something that's a little bit unstable, it's going to force you to use your core a little bit more. That's the way I try to look at it. It's just like using the gymnastics rings. If I'm doing pull-ups on the gymnastics rings or dips on the gymnastics rings, the whole point of it is to have a more unstable surface that's going to work my stabilizer muscles. So if you're doing a pull-up on something a little bit less stable, you're going to have to use your stability muscles and your core engagement to have a cleaner form on those pull-ups. So that's actually a good thing. But in general, in a perfect world, we'd have a pull-up bar that's in a fixed position that is more stable. Not being able to do muscle ups is another kind of negative on the bull bar, but that's cool. Because I mean, in all reality, if you're doing muscle ups, probably shouldn't be doing them indoors at your home. You could probably be doing them in a gym or at a park or whatever it may be. Now, I'd say the only other thing I really don't like about the bull bar, or at least that I kind of turned me off, was that when I watched some videos online before I purchased the bull bar, they almost made it seem like it came with resistance bands, and they also marketed it as something that's very portable. And they had like this portable bull bar bag that you can like put the bull bar in really easy. And then it had like handles so you can just like take it, bring it in your car, or take it wherever you need to take it. That did not come with the bull bar. The bands did not come with the bull bar. And as far as I'm concerned, the product itself costs like almost $400, if not over $400 after taxes and shipping. And for me, if I'm spending over $400 on a piece of equipment, the least that they could do is give me a few bands to come with it. And granted, I already have a ton of resistance bands in my house. Like I run through these resistance bands. I probably have like, I don't know, 40, 50 resistance bands between the gym that I work at, between sitting in my car, between in my house. So resistance bands is like a big part of my workouts. And I feel like they could provide resistance bands. If they gave you resistance bands and they gave you a portable bag that comes with the bull bar, that's something that probably wouldn't even cost the company more than like $10. So that's not eating into their profits that much. And $10 is like on the high end of how much it's probably costing them. It's probably costing them less than $5 for a bag and resistance bands. So to me, that's kind of cheap on the company for not providing that along with the pull-up bar itself. But other than that, I think the bull bar is, like I said, like an 8 out of 10. The pull-ups in particular, a little bit of stability issues. So that's like 7.5 out of 10. But as far as doing dips, you know, that's probably an 8.5 out of 10 just because of the height. You have to bend your knees or whatever. But as far as home equipment goes, like I said, that's what bumps it up. It's like an 8.5 out of 10 as far as home workout equipment. As far as home workout equipment that I've ever had, I would say it's probably the best piece of equipment I've had. And granted, I've never owned base blocks, but I have a few friends who've owned base blocks. And one of the things that I really did not like about base blocks is that the grip on the bar on base blocks is way thicker than on a pull-up bar that you have at a gym, and way thicker than a pull-up bar that you have at a park. The bull bar, on the other hand, I would say is actually a little bit more on the thinner side. I say this is a little bit thinner than maybe at a park, but the good thing about this is that it has kind of a grippy material that helps you grip to compensate for it being a little bit thinner. So I would say these are better than base blocks for sure. And they're more multifaceted than base blocks as well. So if you see base blocks, they usually just have like the big bar that just has a pull-up bar. There's no dip bar attachments. There's not really too much that you can do on it. It actually is very smooth surfaced, like all metal. So it's really hard to wrap your gymnastics rings around the base blocks. And there's nothing that's gonna stop your gymnastics rings from sliding off the sides. So I think the Bullbar actually is superior to base blocks. One piece of equipment that I've just been eyeing online that I didn't get because it wasn't as minimalistic as far as storage goes is Gore Nation's pull-up bar. Gore Nation looks to have the best pull-up bar for at-home pull-up bars, at least in my opinion. I've never actually used it before, never seen it in person, but from what I see online, it looks stable and it also looks like it's multifaceted as far as having dip bar attachments and things of that nature. So for me, I like the Bull Bar. I think it's a great piece of equipment. I'd buy it again if I had to. And you know, it's fall right now and wintertime is coming around. I haven't used it as much the last couple months because out here in San Francisco, the weather's been beautiful. So I've been working out at the parks more. But once the weather gets colder, today is actually one of those days, probably like the first cold day of the season. Like, well, at least in Bay Area terms, it's cold. It's like 60 degrees and it's actually raining outside right now. So I'm probably going to be using the Bull Bar more often. So this is probably going to be something I'm going to use 2, 3, maybe even 4 days per week. But anyways, I highly recommend it. If you guys are interested in learning some exercise routines that you can do on the Bull Bar, go to my website. The link is in the description box below. You can book a consultation with me and we could talk about me putting together a program for you. Or if you guys want me to do some example videos of workout routines, like maybe 5 exercise workout routines that you can do from home, put those in the comment section as well. Also, I didn't do it this time, but what I'll do is maybe I'll make a video explaining how I hook up my gymnastics rings on the Bull Bar. So if you're interested in me making a video about how I hook my gymnastics rings up and some gymnastics rings exercises for beginners, intermediate, even advanced, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section and I'll create a video for you regarding gymnastics rings on the Bull Bar. But anyways, guys, hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.